The moment I stepped through the wrought iron gates of Thornwood Institute, I knew I had made a terrible mistake. Gothic spires clawed at the darkening sky like bony fingers, and gargoyles stared down from rain-stained ledges, their stone eyes seeming to follow my every step. But I needed this job. Rent was due, and security positions that required no questions asked paid surprisingly well.
Mr. Reed, precisely on time. How refreshing.
Professor Harriet Blackwell emerged from the shadows of the grand entrance hall. She was tall and severe, silver hair pulled into a tight bun, her eyes sharp, more dissecting than observing.
At Thornwood, we value punctuality.
I tightened my new uniform jacket. Yes, ma'am. I'm happy to be here. Her thin smile never reached her eyes.
Of course. Let's begin your orientation.
The tour was brisk and clinical. We walked through corridors lined with glass cases containing what Professor Blackwell referred to as specimens of scientific interest. I glimpsed preserved creatures I couldn't identify, ancient artifacts that seemed to pulse faintly, with some unexplained energy, and at least one jar, holding what looked disturbingly like a human hand, with too many fingers.
These collections represent decades of research.
She explained without slowing her pace.
Some are highly sensitive to environmental changes, hence the need for constant security.
We climbed a creaking spiral staircase, passed through a quiet library, and finally arrived at a small office tucked beneath the building's eastern tower.
Your post. The monitors cover all public areas. The logbook must be updated hourly.
She gestured to an aging desktop computer and a leather-bound ledger. I nodded, trying to appear confident while a quiet unease settled in my stomach. Professor Blackwell reached into her blazer pocket and handed me a laminated card.
Most importantly, Mr. Reed, these are the protocols for night security. They are non-negotiable.
At the top, in bold letters, it read, "Protocols for Night Security." Below were 8 numbered instructions that made absolutely no sense. Do not respond. If you hear your name called between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m., the third-floor corridor must remain locked at all times. If you find it unlocked, do not investigate alone. If the lights flicker 3 times in succession, immediately play classical music over the PA system. The specimen in room 237 must not be exposed to moonlight. If you smell lavender, exit the building immediately and call the emergency number. The portraits in the main hall occasionally change positions. This is normal. Do not make eye contact with them after midnight. If the temperature drops suddenly, recite the incantation located in the desk drawer. Under no circumstances should you open any window, regardless of what you see or hear outside. I looked up, a nervous laugh rising in my throat. This is a joke, right? Professor Blackwell's expression remained cold.
Mr. Reed, I cannot stress enough the importance of following these protocols. Your predecessor failed to comply with number 7.
She checked her watch.
It's nearly 8. Your shift has begun.
What happened to the last guard? I asked. She paused in the doorway.
Good night, Mr. Reed. I'll see you at 8 in the morning.
The heavy oak door shut behind her with a sound like a coffin lid, leaving me alone for my 12-hour shift in a building that suddenly felt very much alive. 8:05 p.m. I sat down at the aging desktop computer, its green-tinted screen flickering as it powered on. The leather-bound ledger lay beside it, pages yellowed with age. I made my first entry. Date, time, temperature, nothing unusual. I pressed the live button. 5 black and white camera feeds appeared. The grand entrance hall, the second-floor gallery, the locked third-floor corridor, the spiral staircase landing, and the dimly lit room 237. Everything was still. An hour passed without incident. My eyelids grew heavy. I sipped lukewarm coffee from a styrofoam cup. Somewhere deep within the building, something creaked. I checked the clock. 9:07 p.m. Dust drifted across the gallery camera. I blinked. I must be tired. Curious, I opened the desk drawer and found an old parchment with Latin words written across it. I folded it carefully and slipped it into my pocket, just in case. 10:15 p.m. The lights in the spiral staircase feed dimmed briefly, then brightened again. I tapped the monitor. Nothing. I reached for the protocols card. Rule 3. I watched the feed carefully. Flicker, flicker, flicker. The camera cut out. I pressed play on the PA system. A thin violin melody echoed through the halls. The lights steadied. It felt ridiculous, but the protocol was followed. 11:30 p.m. I made another entry in the ledger. All clear. Temperature stable. Then I saw it. Movement in the third floor corridor feed. The indicator still read, locked. Yet something pale slid along the far wall. The feed went black. I wrote, 11:32 p.m., third floor corridor feed lost. Attempted resync. No signal. Midnight approached. The air felt heavier. Then I heard it.
Marcus.
Close. Rule 1. Do not respond. Who's there? I whispered. Silence. The floorboards creaked outside the door. The handle rattled. Something pressed against it. Then came the scent. Lavender. Rule 5. Exit immediately. I rushed to the door. It wouldn't open. The lock was dead. Then, suddenly, it gave way. The corridor looked different. Longer. The layout shifted. From somewhere to the right came a low, steady chant. I followed it. The staircase rose before me. Cold air poured down. The third floor door stood open. I went up. The lavender scent had turned metallic. Moonlight streamed through a stained glass window. The door to room 237 lay directly in its path. The window was open. Rule 8. I had broken it. I slammed the window shut. Too late. Moonlight had already washed over the door. A faint clicking began from inside room 237. Then something heavy dragged across the floor. I backed away. Halfway down the staircase, the temperature dropped sharply. Rule 7. I pulled the parchment from my pocket and began to recite. Lux tenebris revelare, veniat quod tacet. My voice trembled. Behind me, a door clicked shut.
Marcus.
The voice was hollow now. Please, I whispered. A breath against my ear.
You shouldn't have opened that window.
Something lifted me violently into the air. Darkness swallowed everything. When I woke, it was daylight. I lay on cold stone. The office was gone. No monitors, no desk, no radio, only the ledger. No lavender, no static, nothing. I stepped outside. Morning mist curled along the iron gates. I looked back once. Thornwood stood silent against the rising sun. In my rearview mirror, for a brief second, I thought I saw someone standing in the doorway, head tilted, watching me. Then it was gone. Did any of it really happen? My mind feels fractured. All I know is this: I'm not going back. Not tonight. Not ever.